Jai Mahamaya ki jai. Bole Baba ki jai. In our last discourse, we heard about the glories of the Mahamaya. And we'll move on to chapter 31. The king said, O best of Munis, I have already invited other Munis for the sacrifice and have collected all the materials now. Then how can I wait for you? O Brahmana, you are the foremost of those versed in the Vedas, and you are the family guru of this noble family. How is it then, avoiding my work, you are ready to go elsewhere, O best of Brahmans? Under the uncontrollable greed of wealth, you have lost all sense of your duties and are ready to go away without doing my work. This does not behoove you. O king, though thus tempted by the king Nimi, the rishi Vasista went to Indra's sacrifice. The king, too, became absent-minded and selected for the sacrifice the rishi Gautama. He then commenced the sacrificial ceremony close to the ocean by the side of the Himalayan range and gave profuse dakshina. The king Nimi was engaged in the sacrifice act for 5,000 years. In this, the priests were worshipped with sufficient wealth and cows, and they were extremely glad. Then when the 500 years extending sacrifice of Indra was completed, the rishi Vasista came to see the king Nimi sacrifice and waited there to see the king. The king was then asleep, so the servants did not awake him from his sleep, and the king did not come to the rishi. Feeling insulted at this, the Maharishi Vasista became infuriated with rage. Not seeing the king, he became very angry, and subject to this, he cursed the king. When I am your lifelong guru, especially when I prohibited you, and you have forsaken me and selected another guru, and by your sheer force you are initiated, then be devoid of your body. Let your body fall off today. Vedavyasa said, the king's attendants, hearing thus the curse given by Vasista to the king, instantly awoke him from his sleep and informed him that the rishi Vasista, not seeing him, became very angry. The king Nimi, quite sinless, went there then to the angry Vasista and humbly spoke to him the following reasonable words, pregnant with meaning. O knower of Dharma, I am your Yajamana. Though I repeatedly requested you to perform my sacrifice, yet you quitted me, but for the covetousness, and went somewhere else. I cannot be charged with any fault. You are foremost of the Brahmins, and knowing that contentment is the substance of your dharma, you did not feel ashamed to do this blamable act. You are the son of Brahma, and being versed in the Vedas and other sastras, you are yet unaware of the subtle and very difficult nature of the Brahmanic religion. Now you want to cast your own fault on my shoulders, and you are trying in vain. In vain you have cursed me. Anger is more blamable than a chandala. The wise men should overcome it by all means. When you, infuriated with rage, have been able to curse me for nothing, then I now curse you. Let this body fall off. Narada said, O Muni, when my father learnt the cause of my cares, he smiled and spoke to me in sweet words. Brahma said, O child, the Devas, the high-souled Munis, the wise ascetics, and the yogis subsisting on air only are not able to conquer this Maya. O Narada, the power of Maya is so very great that I, Vishnu, and Shiva, the Lord of Uma, none are able to know her power. That Mahamaya is creating, preserving, and dissolving this world by time, karma, and nature, and other efficient causes. O child, know her to be inconceivable and unapproachable. O intelligent one, do not be sorry, nor should you be surprised about Maya's great strength, for we are all deluded by her. Narada said, O Vedavyasa, Thus advised by my father, my wonder disappeared. I then asked permission of my father, Lotus born, and went on a tour around the sacred places of pilgrimages, and on my way, seeing by and by the chief Tirtha, I have now come here. Therefore, O Muni, dost thou relinquish your sorrows for the extinction of the Kurus family, and remain here and pass your time in great joy and happiness. One must bear the fruits of one karma, good or bad, knowing this full roam at your will wherever you like. Vedavyasa said, O king, Maharishi Narada then kindly giving me knowledge, went away. I also thought over his words. On the banks of the Saraswati, I composed this Devi Bhagavata to pass away my time during the excellent period of Saraswata Kalpa. This Puranam is excellent. It is composed on the authority of the Vedas. All doubts are removed by it. Many nice events are narrated here. Therefore, O king, not the least doubt should be entertained. As a magician makes the wooden dolls dance in his hands at his will, so this world, enchanting Maya, is making this world, moving and non-moving, dance from Brahma down to the blades of grass and all human beings. O king, know Maya's triple gunas to be the cause of this mind consisting of 5 organs of senses that follow the chitta, the mind, buddhi, and ahankara. Action arises from the causes thereof. There's no doubt in this. What doubt, then, there can arise that all these creatures of different temperaments will come out of the different gunas of Maya. Peaceful, terrible, and stupid become the persons in contact with the magic gunas. How then can they exist bereft of them? As the cloth cannot exist without threads, so the embodied beings cannot exist in this world without the triple guna of Maya. There is no doubt in this. As a pot cannot be made without clay, so these bodies, devas, humans, and birds cannot be created without the gunas. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva too are all possessed of these gunas, and therefore they become sometimes happy and satisfied, sometimes unhappy and dissatisfied, and sometimes they become sad and remorseful, as they are then under the influence of one guna or the other. Brahma happens in times to be full of wisdom and knowledge, his temper peaceful, sweet, and pleasant, and his soul wrapped in samadhi. When he becomes possessed of sattvic guna. Again, when he is void of sattvic guna and filled with rajasic guna, his temper becomes unpleasant, and his appearance goes dark and awful anyway. And when he becomes grossly tamasic, he becomes sorrowful and bereft entirely of any intelligence. Vishnu, when resting in sattva, becomes peaceful, sweet-tempered, and full of knowledge. When rajasic guna preponderates in him, he becomes void of sweetness and becomes awful to all beings. Rudra, too, peaceful and pleasant under the sattvic guna, awful and void of sweetness under the rajasic guna, and becomes stupid under the tamas guna. O king, when Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and the solar and lunar kings, the 14 lords of Manvantaras, Manu, and others are under the control of the magic gunas, what to speak of ordinary mortals, men, and the jivas? The whole world is under the control of Maya, the devas, men, and all other beings. None should doubt on this point. All the embodied beings labor under the directions of Maya. Never can they work independently. This Maya is again always residing in the highest essence, the Samvit, or the universal pure consciousness. Thus Maya is dependent on the highest goddess, who is the nature of Samvit, and stimulated by her resides in the hearts of all the jivas. Therefore, one ought to meditate, worship, bow down before the Bhagavati, the creatrix of Maya, and who is the nature of Samvit, pure existence, intelligence, and bliss. Thus she becomes gracious and merciful and liberates the jivas, giving them her realization and drawing together her own Maya away from them. The whole cosmos is nothing but Maya, and the consciousness, Samvit, of the nature of Brahman is the Lord of Maya. For this reason, that beautiful one in the triple worlds, the Devi Bhagavati, is known by the name Bhuvaneshwari, the great lady of the worlds. O king, if the jivas can fix their hearts on that Samvit, that Maya, born of the real and unreal, is quite unable to do any harm to them. No other deva than Bhuvaneshwari, of the nature of pure existence, intelligence, and bliss, is able to remove this Maya. O king, darkness cannot destroy darkness. The sun, moon, lightning, or fire can destroy it. Therefore, it is highly incumbent on us to worship the Lady of Maya, the Samvit, the Mother, with a cheerful heart to remove the Maya and her gunas. O king, now I have narrated to you all the events concerning the killing of Vitrasura, what you asked. What more do you want to hear now? O one devoted to vows, I have now described the first half of this Purana, which describes in detail the glory of the Srimad Devi Bhagavati. This Purana, the secret of this mother of the whole universe, is not to be disclosed indiscriminately to anybody. Those that are peaceful, self-restrained, devoted, and possessed of bhakti to the Devi, the disciples that are devoted to their guru and the eldest son, these are fit recipients thereof. Whoever reads or hears with great devotion this Mahapuranam, equivalent to the Vedas, fraught with many proofs and the essence of all talks, comes in this world possessed of great wealth, becomes wise, and passes his time in the greatest happiness. There is no doubt in this. Here ends the 31st chapter, the 6th book, on the glory of the Mahamaya in the Mahapuranam, Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mat ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.